Hey there, friends and enemies. Jopi here again, and today I want to talk about a massive problem that popped up in the sports card collecting community over the weekend, and I think has been brewing for some time, but a lot of people might be unaware of how deep these issues go. So essentially, there are discords that allow you to buy and sell cards or just trade them depending on what you want to do. This is a way to potentially avoid the fees associated with eBay and whatnot. This is especially nice if you are buying and selling big cards that are very expensive and would result in pretty major fees from those other platforms. And they do have some sort of insurance oftentimes. There's a lot of members, so you can find a lot of people to buy and sell from. And some people have found these to be a way to essentially make full time careers out of buying and selling sports cards. And so I do understand why people might use these discords. But there are some major problems. First and foremost, you have to pay to use these discords. Whether it's $10, $60, $100, that automatically means you have to be trying to make that money back whenever you are in that platform. Plus, the insurance, from what I've looked into, is a little bit sketchy. It's not a guarantee as far as making sure that you're not going to have any problems when you sell a big card for a lot of money and the other person looks at it and they don't think it's a Gem Mint 10 that you promised it was going to be perfect condition, and there's a dispute there, and then it leads to a lot of major issues. And this is something that I think is fairly common on eBay. You have a lot of scammers who do this, but eBay at least offers some level of protection that is kind of built in with a platform of that size. These discords are a little bit less trustworthy, in my opinion, especially the ones that grow to be massive money makers for the owners, like the one with Ryan Cards. If you missed this one, it was absolutely insane. Essentially, this Discord was bought by Filth Bomb Breaks, or at least somebody associated with them, and they have their own issues in the community right now. And it seems like this person was making $60,000 or so a month, somewhere in that range, more or less, whatever the case may be. But that's a lot because they had a lot of members, a lot of paying members, and a lot of cars being bought and sold. But they had a lot of issues. So they were asking people in the DMs for money, like because they were short, and they said they would pay them back, but then there'd be all kinds of problems there. There was gambling allegation, lawsuits, etc., etc., and all of this kind of culminated over the weekend with a lot of people bringing up their stories about this Discord. So I think this is one of those situations where a lot of people are kind of just now becoming aware of what is happening. And one of the major issues that I've seen is other people have now started using their own links in order to try to sell people on other discords to join instead of the Ryan Collects one. And that's pretty insane to me. You're going to go from this major issue to another one that is, again, not going to be regulated in the same fashion as a massive company. And so that's good and bad depending on what you're looking for. I don't necessarily trust these discords. I personally would not pay for one. I don't think you using one is necessarily a bad thing, but I think you need to be aware of some of these problems that people are posting about before joining another one of those. So, yeah, a lot of people are like really freaking out because they were owed a lot of money. There were a lot of problems. So yeah, look at all these people that apparently the person Ryan was still had to pay back, and there's thousands of dollars here, which is kind of crazy. So ultimately, I would just advise people to be very wary. Everybody who is getting into the hobby now, if you are looking at it purely from a financial sense, is obviously looking to build a business, make this a career, and there's no real get rich quick option, right? Some people will luck out, so they'll get some big cards to flip. They'll be able to benefit from that if they're smart about when to buy, when to sell. They might actually turn a profit pretty easily, but it's not going to be something where your margins are so high that you're making millions of dollars right away, hundreds of thousands of dollars right away. And I think that's the expectation for a lot of people, and that's why they'll jump into these discords. It's like, oh, you got to spend money to make money, and that's not always going to be the case. Sometimes you're going to spend money and not see any kind of benefit from it. So I do feel like the whole situation is incredibly scummy. The new owners, I don't trust them at all. I wouldn't be surprised if that Discord kind of falls apart to a degree. And I don't think that anyone should be surprised when somebody who starts making obscene amounts of money through the card collecting hobby ends up scamming people in some way, shape, or form. We saw it with Rip Rosenstein when he created his other website, Snipe, in order to try to compete with eBay, and it ends up being all like shill bids and all this kind of stuff. And he had so much money on the line that it's easy to, even if you don't start out with the intentions of scamming people, it's easy to go down that path once you see how much money is rolling in. And that's what I would be wary of if I'm a lot of these people. Now, obviously, I'm going to make some other videos going over some of the other problems with the hobbies, with breakers, with what Topps is doing in their monopoly. And I kind of want to touch on all of that in like kind of a separate series of videos. But I think the hobby right now is in a weird place. One of the things we've seen is it's expanded so much. A lot more people are involved in card collecting, buying and selling, that we're starting to see so many bad actors in the mix, and that's just going to keep growing as more money is put into this hobby that's intended or expected to grow over the next few years. We've seen venture capitalists jump in and try to make this about an investment opportunity. And it kind of defeats the purpose as like a genuine card lover, somebody who is a fan of sports, has a lot of players and teams that I really enjoy. I collect more unique items that are not all that popular. If a card is not selling at every single whatnot auction, then I'm pretty happy to try to snag it. But at the end of the day, it's just PSA to be careful, to not get in bed with these bad actors, because you might take the fall eventually as well. And there's only one Ryan here and a bunch of other people who were along for the ride, who had their reputations ruined and who now are owed potentially a lot of money. And so yeah, just a wild situation. I'd love to hear from everybody else on if you've ever been a part of one of these discords, if it's something that you're interested in, and at the end of the day, have you been scammed by someone of this nature? I hope that once things kind of level out a little bit and the hobby kind of returns to what it was, things will kind of ease back into a situation where there's not as many issues. But with this explosive growth we're seeing, I'm not surprised that we're going to have a lot of problems. So let me know what you guys think in the comments down below. Like the video as always, comment, subscribe. Have a good one. I'll catch you all later.